Welcome back, guys, to Minko
Welcome to
Bedroom. Today, this is my fourth video in a row. I think, going on a streak. Um, and today's video is basically I was curious, so just thought about the topic. How does the European Parliament work? I never knew. You think the EU, you think all these countries working together under this union. I don't know. Okay, how does it really work? Do they share national security? Do they share their armies? I don't know. I know they share their currencies, but that's pretty much it. Um, and I know that people have a predisposition to leaving. So, I want to learn a little bit more. Today's video is going to be a little bit shorter. Sorry about that. But yeah, I hope you like it. Let's see.
the European Parliament, the EU's official first institution, the world's largest transnational democratic electorate, and the second largest democratic electorate after India. European Parliament currently has
How many people are in India? I know there are like 1.4 billion, 1.2, 3 billion. Imagine they're a democracy. I mean, imagine the number of representatives, because in the U.S. there's 300 million people and there's 535 representatives. How many there are in India? 3,000?
751 members. They are headed by a president and a whopping 14 vice presidents. Seats
Whoa.
are divided among member states proportionately to their population, with a minimum of 6 seats and a current maximum of 96 seats. While the larger
Of course,
countries are big because
Germany
of the
number one.
state, counterintuitively, in Parliament, a Maltese citizen actually is represented better than a German one, with only 70,000 Maltese citizens sharing a Maltese MEP, compared to more than 800,000 Germans for each of their representatives. Every
That makes
5
sense
years,
actually. So, one, what's called MP, uh, one minister for 70,000. It's way better. Anyways, you're not talking.
MEPs are elected in their home country and sent to Brussels, where they group themselves into larger parties along ideological lines. MEPs
Okay, whoa, whoa, whoa.
where they group
Let's
themselves
go
into
back. Let's go
larger
back.
parties along ideological.
What are the parties? So you have the Socialists, the Greens, which is a pretty actually. There's a lot of them. The Alliance of Liberals, Democrats for Europe group, European People's Party, People's Party. Are they like the communists? People's Party, European of Nations and Freedom. Those are the right conservatives. Freedom and Direct Democracy, non-attached members. Well, that's pretty much it. Oh, you have the Nordics. Yeah.
Lines. MEPs usually vote in line with their party rather than their nationality, even withstanding the pressure sometimes put on them by their home countries. So far, this seems to be too straightforward for the EU. So, to make things unnecessarily complicated, the
Yeah,
work of
please.
Parliament takes place in 3 different countries.
What?
All of the administrative work is done in Luxembourg, while
Hmm.
3 weeks every month the plenary meetings are held in Brussels. The remaining week each month, meetings are held in Strasbourg. And
What the
yes, this
fuck?
means all MEPs, their supporting staff, and their documents move back and forth each
Okay,
month.
that doesn't make any sense. Like, why are you gonna make it so complicated? Put it everything in a neutral capital. Put it everything in Luxembourg. Nobody cares about the country. It's a neutral country. It's a buffer zone. Put it in Luxembourg. Don't put it in Belgium. Don't put it all in one country. Don't put everything in like a major power like France or Germany because it will show favoritism. Put it in insignificant. I'm sorry if people from Luxembourg watch this, but a neutral buffer zone. Hence Luxembourg. Put it all there. Why do you have to travel? I mean, imagine how annoying it would be. Like the first few months, it's fun, but then Jesus
They
Christ.
have 2 buildings, etc. As you can imagine, it is not super practical that the administrative work is done in another
Pretty cool
country,
buildings though.
but it does not compare to the impracticality of holding plenary meetings in 2 cities more than 400 kilometers apart. Why is this done? Well, because France. Now that we have quickly
What?
established what the EU Parliament is,
Okay, this is what? What kind of explanation is this? Why does this happen? Because
we
okay,
can talk about what they actually do.
yeah. What the
Parliament
fuck do
has
you do?
3 main tasks or powers. First, the legislative power.
Hmm.
In the standard way new EU law is made, all proposals for new EU legislation must be checked by Parliament. Parliament may then choose to approve, amend, or reject the proposal. As such, Parliament can stop every new law from being implemented, except it can't. Parliament, as the EU's only directly elected body, strangely doesn't have a say in legislation on all subjects. This is often pointed out as a democratic deficit in the EU, which in a way it truly is. However, we are not talking about a
Okay.
state government, so comparing it to one is like comparing apples and oranges. The EU is a national
Ah,
or supranational organization in which
so funny.
independent and democratic states are represented. Compared to other international organizations such as the UN or NATO, the EU is very democratic. Besides, when the European Parliament was elected for the first time in 1979, it had no powers to veto legislation whatsoever. Parliament's right to codecision was introduced in the Maastricht Treaty in 1992. Parliament's powers have been expanding ever since. So while this democratic deficit does still exist, it might no longer in the future. Like new legislation, the EU budget must be approved by Parliament before money can be spent. Additionally, after budget
Wait. This seems an incredibly large amount of money, which is it, of course. However, it's less than 1% of the total GDP. Well, of course, it's going to be less than 1% of the total GDP of the EU. You know, you putting together, what, 30 countries? Uh, you know, when you have, what's the GDP of, like, Germany alone is, like, how many trillions? Uh, Budgetary power. So that's all their investment here. I think I'm going in a limb. Smart and inclusive growth. I love that word. Inclusive growth. What the fuck does that mean? Sustainable growth. Natural resource. Okay. Global Europe. Security. I got that. Special instruments. The piano. And administration. Okay. So that's basically the salaries of.
must be approved by Parliament before money can be spent. Additionally, after the money has been spent, Parliament must officially discharge the budget of the previous year to confirm the money was spent for the planned purposes. This gives
I
Parliament
wonder how much corruption is going
a
on.
say in the EU finances both before and after money is spent. In line with the idea of separation of powers, Parliament, as
Who's this guy, man? I think he showed him once before in a bigger painting. He looks Roman-ish.
the legislative
I don't know
branch,
who the fuck
makes
he is.
sure the Commission, as the executive branch, doesn't get too powerful.
Hmm.
If Parliament is very unhappy with the actions of the Commission, it can cast a vote of no confidence, effectively firing the College of Commissioners.
The only reason why I know what a vote of no confidence is I'm like pretty much everybody else. Star Wars. That's why.
Voting is usually done by a simple show of hands, at which
Really?
point the President
What are you?
determines if
First
there is a
grade?
majority. If it is too close to call, instead, an electronic vote is used. In some cases, Parliament decides by simple majority. This means that a majority of the MEPs present and voting during the plenary must be in favour. MEPs that are not present in the plenary at the time of the vote or who choose not to vote are not counted in the total. In
Okay.
theory, this means that a single MEP could win
While Parliament has 751 members, only 750 may cast a vote as the President cannot. Cannot take that.
a simple majority vote, as long as the rest of the MEPs are not present or not voting. For important decisions, an absolute majority is needed, however. This means that for a vote to pass, a majority of Parliament must vote in favour, regardless of who is there and who abstains.
Okay.
In this case, a single MEP can't win the vote. When it comes to a vote of no confidence, Parliament needs a two-thirds majority of the voting members on top
Whew.
of the absolute majority.
The 751 European parliamentarians are elected directly by the European people every 5 years, making it the most democratic part of the EU. Parliament votes on laws and plans proposed by the European Commission and checks that money
I have a question. What's the real weight behind the decisions that the EU makes? Because, you know, if you pass a law, whatever the law is, let's say every time a car goes 50 kilometers an hour, you have to, whatever it is, you have to give it a ticket. Just a stupid example. Does the law apply to all countries, and then, or is it like an all-encompassing law that applies, but then each country decides if they want to enforce it, or is it sort of a all-encompassing body that, you know, if a law in the EU passes, it passes across all all countries that are part of the EU?
is actually being spent in the way that it has approved of. Although the Parliament is not yet involved in every EU decision, it has steadily gained power over the unelected institutions over the years.
Now we have some basic knowledge of the first institution of the European Union. It is, however, only a small part of a much bigger picture. To find out more about the other institutions, the history of the EU and other subjects, please check out our playlists and subscribe to our channel.
Okay, so I made a mistake. I thought it was going to be a video about how the European Union works. This is just the Parliament. Well, at least we did learn something. Thank you for watching. I hope you learned as much as I did, which is, I mean, it was a 5-minute video. What did we learn? There's 750 people. Now with the UK gone, this is outdated. So who knows how many there are? Maybe 700. I don't know. But so we learned a pretty good amount, I guess. It was a pretty enlightening video. I hope you liked it, and I'll see you guys in the next one.